and we don't hear anybody complaining about that.
No, it's extraordinary. How many people do you know who say to you, I hate this job, they're giving me too much money?
Not very many,
No.
none in fact.
None at all, and neither will you.
No.
But I do believe that there's a different attitude in this country now. I think there's a greater preparedness to accept that we each can fall off the branch, through no fault of our own. And an earlier caller talked about being on the dole as a safety net. That is important. Sorry?
I think that's important that's there. I think that the Britain is a very...
Yes, and I think it's quite an interesting and important way that he regards it. That it's there as an emergency. So, and I also think that the suggestion that somebody else made, that after so many months you have to start to do something which can be seen as reciprocal appreciation for what you're being paid.
Yeah.
You've gone quiet.
Yeah, sorry, I'm listening to you. I actually wanted to bring up one other point also. Earlier you mentioned Ken Livingstone's relationship with Hugo Chavez.
Yes, and the possible million drums of oil. What we're going to do with that? They can't put that anywhere in Westminster in London because someone will stick a parking ticket on it.
Yes, well, I find the whole thing fairly ridiculous myself. I don't know what Ken Livingstone's thinking. Hugo Chavez has got one of the worst human rights records on the planet.
Well, there was this rather questionable visit from... No, I don't want to go in that. I'm not... It's not you, Hayden, it's me.
Right.
It's nearly time for me to say goodbye before I put my foot in it. Thank you very much. I enjoyed talking to you. Call us again. Thank you very much. talkSPORT on 10:53, 10:89 a.m. Alan Brazil's Sports Breakfast starts at 9 o'clock. As usual, you wouldn't want it any other way. Sorry, 6 o'clock through until 10. What starts at 9 o'clock? I know what starts at 9 o'clock. Breakfast. I got all excited there for a minute. Let's talk to Neil, who's in Reading. I looked at the screen. I thought that was Neil Young for a minute. I don't know why. It's all going terribly wrong this morning. Yeah.
Well, it sounds it. I mean, there's some good points coming out. There's some bad points coming out. I'm over 50.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I've worked all my life. I've done 22 years in the army.
Have you?
I have been left the army for some 12 years now. Walked straight into a job when I came out of the army. So I've had no problems with employment until sort of 2002, March 2002, and I was made redundant. All right, I got a little bit of a golden handshake from the firm that I used to work for, and I was given 3 months' pay as well, because that was in the contract and everything. And I had to go and find another job. Anyway, went to sign on the dole. I get £3.57 per week. It cost me £2 to get to the dole office to sign on.
And what is that? Is that job seekers allowance? It can't be.
That is what I'm entitled to. £3.57 a week and not a penny more. Or that's what I was entitled to. Yeah, £3.57 a week and not a penny more.
And did you ask why so little?
I've got an army pension.
Oh, I see. So they're saying we're only going to give you this because you've got that.
Yeah, and the wife's working over 24 hours a week.
So when it comes to remembering all the cash you paid in...
Exactly.
Take it away where the sun don't shine.
Then you get people coming into the country, they've got nowhere to go. Yeah, they haven't got 2 pennies to rub together, they put in 5-star hotels, they're giving all the meals, they're getting food, clothing, they're getting the lot. Then you got these families with 20 kids where dad doesn't do anything.
And you're still getting £3 a week?
And I get £3 a week.
And people look around and they say, I can't understand it.
Well, there's something wrong, isn't there?
Oh, there's got to be something wrong. There's got to be something wrong.
Has got to turn round and put a stop to it. and say, right, you don't work, we'll give you a job seekers allowance, but it will only be paid for so many weeks. If you don't do anything, like the lady said a few callers ago, do community service, yeah?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And do something for the bits that you're getting. But don't give people 30 grand, 40 grand, because they've got 20 kids and they're such idle...
That'll do nicely.
Yes, you know what I mean?
I do, I know exactly what you mean. Thanks, Neil. You're listening to talkSPORT. I'm Mike Allen. Lawrence is on the M6, going to speak to him in a minute, and Barry's in Thirsk. That's all coming up after this. talkSPORT, 10:53, 1089 AM.
On 1089 and 10:53 AM and Freeview Channel 723. talkSPORT.
Two major talking points this morning dominated the conversation. About 770,000 households are believed to be missing one or more mortgage payments in the past 12 months. Repossessions have risen to 8,140 in the past 6 months, the highest since 2001. We're looking at possible increase in the cost of living, and we're looking at oil prices which have eventually not returned to the level they were at a few months ago, and everything is transported by trucks at one point or another in its movement from manufacture to point of sale. So obviously it's going to affect us. It's going to affect a lot of us. Over and above that, we're going to see increased unemployment because of it. And when we're talking about increased unemployment, we're talking about the second most popular talking point this morning. Zillions of people have called in to express an opinion when it comes to people who aren't employed. Many of them are quite spiteful, saying that they should get off their asses and do something. Do you think they enjoy being out of work? Then others have phoned up and said, well, this is hardly good enough, you know. What about a bit more compassion? We seem to swing pendulum-like from one side, one set of views, to another. Maybe the truth lies somewhere in the middle. Barry is in Thirsk. Hello, Barry. Hello, Barry. No, we're going to try again because we're men.
Working.
Hang on, Barry. Barry, hang on. Can you start again from now, please? Sorry about that. Yes, please. Start again.
Time to get up. I am straight for J. Arthur Rank.
Yes, well,
Is that company still on the go?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, stopped years ago. But yeah, you know, I mean, it's awful to hear people, you know, they're so despondent. And I can't think, I'm not very often very despondent. I think my low points were people's high points. But yeah, and there's a world full of people out there who are sponging, you know, the parasites living off the backs of us. I mean, we have them everywhere now. They're in every village, every market town like here. You see them hanging around the marketplace, around Thirsk Clock, etc. It doesn't matter where you go. There's this army of unemployed who will never ever work. You know, it's endemic, isn't it? The family is like throwing a stone in a pond, the ripples go out. And the families, like third generations, will never ever work. They shouldn't be allowed to.
Well,
they should be made to work.
Let's hang on a minute. Let's just put a challenge out for people who've, if they can answer this as honestly as possible, tried to get a job, tried to hold one down, tried to find a job.
But that's a failure, that word, you see. You know, people who use words, and this, I always say this to people, if you say, I'm going to try, you ain't going to do it. If you say, if this, or what about if that, try, those words don't exist with me. They don't, honestly. I've been self-employed. I'm now in my 41st year. 20, I think I'm 26 actually, but yeah, 67 yesterday. I couldn't afford to stop working. I don't want to stop working. I'm fortunate because I'm self-employed and I can turn my hand to anything. But I haven't abused myself. I keep fit. I go out for a bike ride. From 6:30 yesterday morning, I went out for a bike ride for an hour. I did. And I go for a bike ride every day, unless it's pouring down, because my bike hasn't got any mud guards. But I do. I look after myself. But a lot of people, when you've got a large section of the population who abuse themselves, they're overweight, they're obese, I mean, they're going to fall off the conveyor belt anyway. But, that's just one aspect of it. And we're on about whether the shortage of money, etc. You only have to look at the health service, and I mentioned about these PFIs. You need to get someone who really knows about it. We're going to hell on a handcart with the health service. We really are. It's in deep poo-poo. And, when you've got...
It's 512 million shortfall?
Well, whatever it is. But when you've got females who go for abortions, now, how many is there? Nearly 200,000 have abortions when they should be using a form of contraceptive, a lot of them. Now, that costs about £40 million a year. Look at how many bed spaces. That's a day in a hospital, all that time that it takes. It's absolutely disgraceful. Now, that's just one aspect of it.
Yeah, but I think we've got to bear in mind just how traumatic it is. I mean, nobody going to put their hand up and say, oh, yes, please, I'll have that experience.
I know, but it's all about responsibility to yourself, isn't it? And a lot of people are very irresponsible. We live in a society where irresponsibility is rewarded. I mean, it's insane. And, I mean, I feel so sorry for people when I hear them, like on here. And they've just given up. I'd never, ever give up, but then maybe I'm different. But there is lots of opportunities out there if you're self-employed. There's no one going to turn around and say, oh, you're too old and that you can't get a job. You'll always, up here, there are endless opportunities like there are anywhere. You only have to look at the building trade. And if you look after yourself, you're not desperate for people. Why not retrain? Why not go anywhere on a course, learn plastering? There's courses around here. You can go, I don't know, about £200. You go for 2 or 3 days, I think it is. Okay, you're not going to learn a trade in that day, but, you're getting some experience. I'd go and work for nothing with a builder just to learn the trade if I had to. And then I would set up on my own. I would do. There's lots of ways.
It's a bit short-sighted on his part, isn't it, really, to teach you how to do it?
Well, no, this is a firm that does it. But people are desperate. They need people. The whole building, the whole country in here is dependent upon the building trade. The economy, the whole economy is revolving, or so it seems to, around putting up properties. They're selling up carpets, all the do-it-yourself, all like B&Qs and all the rest of them, but they're all going through difficult times. You would think. You only have to read their results in the financial papers, and all are having difficult times. But I think we've got a hell of a lot more difficult times ahead of us, because actual interest rates should be a lot higher than what they are.
They will be.
Yeah, but Gordon Brown had deliberately kept them low because he wants people to spend and get themselves into hock, to be so deep in debt that it must be frightening for them. That's the only thing that keeps the whole of this country's employment going, is people getting further and further in debt. It's insane. Interest rates should have gone up long ago. If they had done, we'd have the unemployment rates of in Europe, like Germany and France, which have got maybe 10% unemployment. But their problems are they're so feather-bedded now when they lose their jobs that there is no incentive to go out and try and get another job. Here, how the hell could anyone, Gordon Brown isn't saying to everybody, oh, you must save for your pension. You couldn't start to save for your pension. You'd have to start saving £250,000 on today's money. How the hell could anyone save £250,000? It's not possible, is it?
Thanks very much, Barry. I think one of the key points in situations such as this is to keep our compassion levels up, don't you? I think so. Thanks once again, Barry. So if you've been through the unemployment situation, or maybe somebody next to you, somebody close to you, and how long does it take to turn the situation round and get another job? Now, you probably say to me, well, that's rather dependent on the size of the territory we're talking about. If you're living in a busy city, huge sort of place, chances are you've got better opportunities. Alternatively, you might say to me, actually, it's pretty easy to get a job for this field of interest that I'm involved in. Whatever, 08704 20 20 20, 08704 20 20 20. The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast starts with Alan Brazil and Graham Beechcroft. No, it's Beecroft, isn't it?
It certainly is.
I gave you an H yesterday as well. Actually.
Did you?
Yes, I've got to watch myself actually, slipping through the H. Starts at 6, it finishes at 10. That's 4 hours before the mast. 2 of you in the studio.
Absolutely.
And no safety net.
No safety net. Off we go on a Big Dipper ride of fun, frolics and sporting information. It's as simple as that. I was just wondering, Barry saying he needed a bit of... Have you ever done any motivational speeches or anything like that? Anything to, supplement the old income, Nicole, Mike? Have you?
Yeah.
Good. And is it profitable?
Making commercials is profitable.
Oh, is it? You do voiceovers, do you, as well? Oh, right. What sort of things for?
I don't know, cars.
Do you?
Yeah.
Are you still active in the voiceover market?
Not as much.
Oh, right.
I'll tell you for why. Because regional accents have become a lot more popular.
Uh-huh.
Because the psychology behind it is people believe them because they sound honest.
Ah, I see. Interesting, isn't it, that? Yeah. And do you have an agent, or do you just act on your own behalf?
No, I've got an agent.
Oh, have you? Very good. Excellent stuff. But you still do that sort of stuff, yeah?
Yeah.
Good. Excellent. Very good indeed. Okay, what's going to happen on the Sports Breakfast? You're about to ask me, aren't you?
I was going to ask you, but I was just thinking that if I should pass my agent's phone number across. What's going to happen on the Sports Breakfast?
What's going to happen? Well, we'll be looking back at yesterday's Champions League results, Mike. Liverpool in action, drawing 0-0 over in PSV Eindhoven, and Chelsea getting a 2-0 victory last night against the Germans Werder Bremen. We're going to be reflecting on both of those matches and looking ahead to today's games. Arsenal in action against Hamburg. Tony Woodcock, former gunner and England forward, and played in the Bundesliga, of course, as well, will be joining us to talk about that and to preview the other match. We're also going to be talking to people who will be looking at that one as well. That's the big game, of course, between Manchester United and Celtic. And by the way, we're also going to be giving tickets away for that particular game, United against Celtic. 5 of them in the Ford Champions League competition this morning. So well worth waiting to listen to that for. Billy McNeil will be joining us as well, former Celtic legend, of course, and he won the European Cup with the Lisbon Lions. Celtic, the first British team to win the European Cup. We're also going to be talking cricket as well, Mike, because Jack Bannister will be here. Yesterday, the Ashes squad was announced, and the captain of the Ashes squad, who's going to be...
Do you agree with that?
Andrew Flintoff. Personally, I'd rather see Strauss as the captain, simply because I think Flintoff is doing too many things. He's got too many things to think about, and when you look at his form with the bat when he was captain, it seemed to dip. Now, whether that was just because of a natural loss of form, or whether it was because of the captaincy as well, I'm not sure. But one thing's for sure, the two things seem to run parallel to one another, and we're going to be talking to Jack Bannister about that, just to see what Jack feels as well. So it's an interesting morning as well. Jason Cundy will be joining us. He'll be looking back at yesterday's game involving Chelsea as well. And Simon Clare from Coral will be here. He'll be looking at the odds for the matches tonight, and whether the odds have changed overall after Chelsea's victory for them to win the European Champions League. And we haven't forgotten some boxing, which is taking place on Friday at the Alexandra Palace. Junior Witter, who you may not have heard of, but he is a very talented boxer, comes from Bradford, and he's getting a crack at the vacant WBC belt against the talented DeMarcus Corley. That should be a very good fight indeed, so we're going to be looking at that as well. The usual chat, emails, texts, etc., all in the Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast from 6 o'clock this morning.
Thank you, Graham. It's got more features than a crowded room, hasn't it?
It certainly has. Absolutely chock-a-blocker. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for coming in. Thanks, Graham.
talkSPORT Traffic and Travel.
Hi, Mary, what you got for us?
A few problems on the roads. The biggie is the anti-clockwise M25 through Essex, which is closed off between junction 26 at Waltham Abbey and Enfield at junction 25. That's half a mile before the roadworks area. Do expect the road to remain closed for most of the morning. You may want to find a diversion route. The A406 in Southgate, just outside London, is also closed off due to a crash at Bowes Road. And in Buckinghamshire, reports of an overturned lorry southbound on the M1 between Milton Keynes at junction 14 and Bedford at junction 13. In Shropshire and Ludlow, the northbound A49 still closed due to an overturned lorry between Sheet Road and Rocks Green. And in Birmingham, reports of heavy traffic on the southbound M6 due to a broken down lorry between Spaghetti Junction at junction 6 and Castle Brom at junction 5. In Stretton in Rutland on the A1, that's partially blocked off due to an accident near to the B668, so do expect possible delays. Mary Jacobs, talkSPORT Traffic and Travel.
talkSPORT Traffic and Travel.
Let's bring things right up to speed. The Champions League is back on talkSPORT, and we'll be bringing you coverage of all the British teams throughout the tournament. Tonight is the Battle of Britain as Celtic take on Manchester United at the Theatre of Dreams. Jim Proudfoot and Alvin Martin will bring you full match commentary live from Old Trafford on 10:89 and 10:53 a.m. Plus, if you want to hear Arsenal's trip to Hamburg, then tune into any of our digital platforms as Chris Cooper and Gary Stevens are live in Germany with full match commentary on the Gunners. Both nights from 10 p.m. talkSPORT. It's your station to react to the action as the boys take your calls right through until 11 o'clock. For live commentaries and full-on phone-ins during the Champions League, keep it talkSPORT. Let's have a chat with Sylvester as in Leicester. Hello, Sylvester.
Hello, mate.
Hi. What can I do for you?
Unemployment.
Yes.
Right. I am 54 years of age, my friend, yeah?
Uh-huh.
And I've never been out of work. I left school, right, with no qualifications whatsoever.
Right. Okay.
And I started work within a week, and I started being a mechanic of motorcycles, apprenticing. Yeah?
Yeah.
£3 a week, and I've worked, and then I went from there into spraying cars. Then I saved a bit of money, and I got a license when I was 21 to drive lorries, and I've been driving lorries since I'm 21. Yeah? And I work every day, in and out of jobs, right?
Okay.
Right now I do agency work. I'm on the road now on my way to Liverpool. I started working at 4 o'clock this morning.
Oh, that's a cruel job. It's like being on radio, isn't it?
Exactly. Right. And I've got a stepson who's 18 years of age, and he cannot be motivated to get his backside out of bed to go and find work to do. He haven't got time to go and seek job seekers allowance. You know what I mean? These young people today, they don't want no work. They're not interested in work. All they want to do is lay in bed and mess about at night with their friends, drink beer, take drugs, and all that caper. They don't want nothing out of life. They've got no ambitions whatsoever.
Why?
So people blame it on the country. The country's this and the country's that. It's the youngsters themselves. These people just too damn idle to get off their backside and seek work.
Yeah. So what do you attribute that? I mean, there's got to be a reason for everything to happen. There's cause and effect. So why are they so laissez-faire about wanting to do a job?
They just can't be bothered. You know what I mean? There's people, and I know people with my age group who've never worked in their life, and they get money from the dole, get money from the social. They got women with 5 and 6, 7 kids, and that's how they live. You know what I mean? And that isn't right.
No, it's not. It's obviously not the answer. Sylvester, thank you very much. Have yourself a good day. Drive safely. Thank you very much. Let's talk to Stuart, who's in Fleetwood. Hello, Stuart. You're on talkSPORT. Welcome. Good morning.
Hi, thanks. I was just wanting to... I totally disagree with what that gentleman just said.
I didn't interrupt him, and I'm not going to interrupt you.
Sorry.
Just express your opinions, you know.
Yeah, well to badmouth the young people of today, it's not just young people of today, it's young people from yesterday, if you know what I'm saying. Like, 10 years ago there was the same problem. I mean, and it's even worse today for young people because apprenticeships and all that, it's okay coming out of school with no qualifications 50 years ago because you could go to a shipyard, you could go to the coal mines, you could get like an apprenticeship, you could get a trade that way, but you can't get them anymore. I mean, you cannot get like apprenticeships. Well, you probably can, but they're very, very rare. You know what I'm saying?
And then I seem to have a recollection of someone telling me that when you were apprenticed to someone like a panel beater or a riveter or whatever, you were earning no money. In fact, it wouldn't be unusual for the first year of the apprenticeship to be you or your parents paying the craftsman to use your child as an apprentice.
Yeah.
So, it's a personal reaction, isn't it, to a situation?
Yeah, but what I mean, like, these days, I mean, I've got a lot of nephews, and they're all, like, coming to the age of leaving school and whatever. And, I mean, it's not that they don't want to work. The only jobs that are going, they don't have any future in them. So how can they be interested in getting a job and sticking to a job and whatever when there's no future in the jobs that are about? I mean, all they can get is, I mean, they are bad jobs, and there isn't any training. There's no, they don't come out of it, you know what I mean, at all, with anything. Like, they can only say that they're working, basically. They can't say they've got a trade or they've got certificates or anything.
I wonder how much of that is due to the fact that, as a country, we're a service economy now.
Yeah, I mean, people say about asylum seekers and that. I mean, they can't even get any. I mean, they come here to better themselves, and they end up like stuck in dead-end jobs, kind of thing. You know what I mean, as well. They
might be in a dead-end job, but they're probably earning about twice what they would have earned at home.
Oh yeah, that's okay. But at the end of the day, they're not getting, like, it's supposed to be a free country and everyone gets treated equally. You know what I mean? They're still not getting like an equal opportunity to, you know what I mean, to get a better job, or. You know, and it's the same.
You're not suggesting someone's taking advantage of them and paying them less than they should.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
I think you're right, Stuart. And that's not right either. Thanks for the call, Stuart. Call us again. We'll be here tomorrow morning. Lots more to talk about. Thanks very much for all the nominations to move your suggestions into the UK Hall of Fame. Eddie got in touch. He said, David Coverdale, Whitesnake. Top man and still going. Awesome voice and a great live show. Got to be in the Hall of Fame. Okay, consider that a vote. Paul said the Kinks, The Who and John Peel were inducted earlier this year. Regards from Paul, who's obviously very happy with his lot. And a message from Mark in London. He said Madness should be installed in the Hall of Fame. They're one of the best British bands of all time. And finally, dog handler Jim said, with regards to the doll, the chap who's talking about Beyond the Dole, I hope he's made homeless, to be absolutely honest. It's people like that who ruin our country. If we all had his attitude, there would be nothing going on. People like him should be made to work for his free flat and his benefits. Let's have a quick word with Chris in Manchester. Hello, Chris, you're on talkSPORT.
Hi, very good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
The gentleman who's driving to Liverpool, I totally agree with him. I've got an 18-year-old lad. I've had jobs ever since I've been 13. I left school, never had a day, never been out of employment. Work for myself now, very successful in business. I'm on the road now and I'll be working till probably 7 o'clock tonight, and I'll be rushing to get back to go to watch Manchester United with my son, I hasten to add. But I think it's not society, it's us. We give them far too much. I never got anything when I was a kid. So when you have children, you think, oh, you've got to give them more. You've got to give them more. And unfortunately, that's what we've done as parents. And I think if everybody's listening to that, they'll agree with me.
We've given too much.
We give them far too much. He's 18, no motivation. I've had him working with me, and he's just a waste of space, half asleep all the time, don't want to know, attitude on his shoulders. So we just left him alone and hoping that he'll find his own way in life. But you love him, and you give him whatever you want. You know, his mum will still go out and buy him £120 pairs of trainers. Give him money for fast food. Give him money for cigarettes. Give him money to go and have a drink with his mates. And it's every parent. He's got 8 to 10 mates, and they're all the same. They're not in trouble. They don't get in trouble. They just lie in bed till 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Then they meet the mates, and they stay out all night. And it's everywhere you look. And I just think it's us. I mean, I'm 47, so, you know, you go back and you look when we were kids, we never got anything. We had to save and we had to buy things because my mum and dad didn't earn the kind of money I earned, so I never got it. So I think, well, I'll treat my lad. And that's what I wanted to say.
I suspect that there are a million parents like yourself, Chris, listening to you saying what you said today and thinking, oh, well, thank God, you know, it's not just us. But I wonder if part of the problem isn't that your son and his friends are getting together and they're staying up all night, so consequently they're dog-tired come 6 o'clock in the morning, you know, and then ideally we're springing from their bed for greater things. I don't know, perhaps that's something to do with it. I've got to get out of town. Chris, thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone who's been on part of the programme this morning. And special thanks to John, absolute top chap. He's been rushing around, organising this, that and the other. I said to him, a new Bentley would be nice, but unfortunately it was just out of the budget. Strange that, isn't it? I'm Mike Allen. I will be again tomorrow. Have yourself a really good day. It's Alan Brazil's Sport Breakfast right after the news. You're listening to talkSPORT.